He's unable to be here tonight.
Councilman Phillips.
Here.
Councilman Casal.
Here.
Supervisor.
Here, everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. I'd like to have a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any nays or abstentions? The motion passes. Second item would be a motion to acknowledge the minutes of the regular meeting of February 24th.
So moved. And you got the 29th too, right?
I'll get that next.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? The motion passes. The next motion is to acknowledge the minutes of the February 29th meeting. That was the town workshop.
Okay. I'll make that motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, the motion passed. Before we get into the public portion of the meeting, I would just like to make a couple comments. First is that, as everyone is well aware, the county, the state, and town, and many other organizations are addressing the COVID-19 challenge that's facing us. There is a wide array of preparedness and prevention activities that are underway in the county and the state and other locations. Right now, based on our regular communications with County Executive Mark Molinaro, the Governor's Office, we're fortunate also to have Councilman Bill Beal as in charge of emergency preparedness in the county. We see no cause to be alarmed at this point. There's so far to date, unless something happened recently, no known cases of any COVID-19. There have been some people, as is to be expected, under observation because of return trips from international locations. But right now, the Department of Behavioral and Community Health is very much on top of monitoring the situation. And as I said, we have almost daily phone calls even during the weekend. Bill and I and the county executive and others were on phone calls as they brief us on what's happening throughout the state. So at this point in time, being in constant contact, we're well aware of what is happening, including throughout the state. Also, as the governor's office has said, Johns Hopkins is monitoring all the cases and keeping track of where people are located. So there really is no reason to be alarmed. We want to stay calm and stay informed. In that context of being informed, I had a briefing with our town staff, this afternoon, and we've put that briefing as well as other materials that we received from the county executive's office, including a letter on our website. Of course, we're always available for phone calls, but the main issues that we're seeing is really sanitary, observing the various sanitary conditions, such as trying to minimize your contact of your face, your eyes, nose, and mouth. Cleaning your hands regularly, and also using sanitizing lotions that either can be bought over the counter or homemade, whether it's with alcohol or witch hazel and a number of various other things like peppermint essential oils and various things that you can find, and actually I've used over the years myself. So please just observe some common sense issues. If anybody should get sick or feel that they're sick, don't rush right away to the doctor's office or the clinic. Use the phone to call your health provider, and also the county Department of Behavior and Community Health has contact information, and we don't want people spreading it. There'll be advice over the phone as what to do, what to look at, taking the temperature. So please observe those, but there's websites that we have on our website, both the county and the state. And Mr. Bill, would you like to just say anything in addition to that?
So I think the supervisor covered it all, really. Obviously, there is a sense of panic in the air out there if you go out to the store and see empty shelves and things like that. So just take a deep breath, understand that it is flu season anyway. We need to be taking certain precautions as usual. This particular COVID-19 strain of the coronavirus has no confirmed cases in Dutchess County at this time. There are individuals that are being monitored because they've come from overseas, or they've had some sort of contact secondarily, but there's no cases in Dutchess County at this time. We are prepared for cases in Dutchess County, I'll be honest with you, and there are mechanisms in place that if there are cases identified, those folks will be treated as soon as possible and basically kept from spreading the disease, so, or the virus, I should say. So at this point, I thank the supervisor for taking part in the ongoing preparation with the county and the state. I'm on the senior policy group for the county, and each municipality will be on a conference call again tomorrow at 10 a.m. To get the latest information, and we're in continued communication with the governor's office and the CDC through our health partners. So I think the big role of town government is to make sure that folks understand that everything is being done from the local level on up to be prepared for this type of thing, and we need to use common sense hygiene procedures, washing your hands, and try not to touch your face. I know that my church suspended, showing a sign of peace for now because individuals were, spreading things by shaking hands, right? So if you don't want to shake my hand, that's fine. You shouldn't have to be shaking people's hands right now. It is flu season, and the flu is spreading too. So, but I thank the supervisor for his involvement, especially over the weekend.
And I would note that each morning before we open up to the public, Steve Frazier has his folks wiping down almost the entire town hall, at least its public areas, whether it's countertops, windows, doorknobs in the bathroom. So we've been doing that actually for about a month, just as a precaution, even flu season. We do have sanitation, the lotion gel dispensing machines. If somebody comes in here, wants to use it, then that's also available for that purpose. So we have been trying to observe those basic cautionary preventive measures here. So we hope that everyone stays healthy, and as Councilman said, don't be alarmed here in our county.
Also, our first responders in our town are well prepared. The 911 center is screening calls. If someone calls with flu-like symptoms, they're asking a set of questions to determine what level of response is required. So right from that point through the emergency services arriving at the residence, they are well prepared to treat anyone that may call that could potentially have this virus. So feel confident in the fact that your town and many of the towns, most of the towns here in our vicinity are very proactive with this.
Yeah, thank you. The next item will be to open the public portion of the meeting. We have only a few resolutions tonight because we'll be spending a lot of time doing interviews for very important positions on our zoning and planning board. But do I have a motion to open the public portion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Nays or abstentions? Seeing none, motion passed. So if anyone should have any comments they'd like to make on the resolutions that we have, please come up to the podium, identify yourself, and speak for no more than a couple of minutes. Seeing none, have a motion.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, the motion passed. The discussion item that we have, and Barbara, maybe you'd like to introduce it. It's concerning the Municity software. We've had discussion before, and I think during, in fact, the past week, we've had more crash downs of the software. So maybe for the board
Yes.
members and the public, you can open it.
Building department uses Municity as our software, and our program has become antiquated. So we're having a lot of issues in the office on different computers. It seems to be getting more frequent, so tonight we've asked a representative from Municity to come to explain what's happening and what to do if we decide to move up to a cloud-based program.
Okay, good. Well, you want to introduce the representative?
This is Will
Labassiere.
Labassiere.
Okay, thank you. The floor is all yours, Will.
Great, thank you. So I'll be brief. If you want to see more details, I'll be glad to. Is there a particular time amount you guys have in mind?
10, 12 minutes.
10 to 12 minutes,
If
perfect.
you can do it.
Okay. I like it. Okay, so I'm Will from Municity. We're up in Red Hook. We made the software all the way back from 1983, was the first version Municity. This is known as Municity 5 now. It is all web-based. It is in the cloud, hosted Amazon AWS, SQL backend for the nerds in the crowd. We do about 240 municipalities now in 14 states. We're doing quite well with it. We were picked in Connecticut last year as the preferred permitting code enforcement product, and so we up to about 15 municipalities in Connecticut, including New Haven and Norwalk, and Greenwich we just installed. So it is an upgrade from the current version that you guys have. It is all web-based. It does not have the problems that you're running into currently with Windows 10 issues and security issues. Your product you currently have is 10 plus years old at this point, and is not, we continue to patch it and try to keep it running, but it really needs to see end of life here soon. We are going to force all municipalities to be off of it by the end of 2021, although we do prefer you get off it sooner, so because it's very, very difficult to support. The new Municity is, as I mentioned, web-based. It's GIS-centric. We tie in GIS as part of it. There's three main pieces of it. There's the in-office use, which I kind of have up here. Open up a parcel. You can do a lot of different things with it. It's very comprehensive software. We like to use that term. So open a parcel. You can see everything about that parcel. We bring in assessment data from the county. We bring that in weekly. We get owner updates on that. Everything is here. Any complaints. This is some Hyde Park data. This is actually live Hyde Park data. Permits, etc. You can open multiple things at a time, which is a big change from the current version you have. So you can be on a parcel. Someone calls you up about a permit, you can jump over to that permit, etc. We track permits, inspections, fees, code enforcement activities, violations, variances, planning activities, site plan, subdivision, zoning, all of the above. Contractors, licenses of contractors, so on. The new software does a few innovative things. One is we do all of our printing now through Microsoft Word. So we've taken Microsoft Word and just expanded its mail merge capabilities to allow for ease of printing, and so the staff in the office can also edit the documents quite easily. We give you a lot of reporting capability within it, including the ability to export any data that you want, search on any data, create custom fields, export that data, search on that data. So this is just a simple example here. If I do I'll just search for all permits that have closed this year. There's 66 of them, and then I can actually map all of those if I get some of these things out of the way here. So those blue dots on the map are those 66 permits. Let me turn off this layer here. So that's Hyde Park, and those are all those permits, and you can actually zoom in here and click on any of those and see. This one actually has 2, and you can see what those permits are, et cetera. So you can really visualize activity within the municipality. You can export that. You can make any of this available publicly. That's another big difference in Municity 5 is it's tied together with something we call City Squared, which is a product we make as well that is a public-facing, so you can come in here and do any of the same GIS type work, expose any GIS layers to the public, usually a subset of layers and data, search for properties, pull up information, and then on those properties you can choose what you show to the public here, including licenses, permits, code enforcement. But the big piece is you can apply for permits. So we allow for the full application process to be done by the public, including paying of fees, uploading documents, comments back and forth from the different departments to the applicant, and we support as many different types of permits. This is New Haven, which we launched in December. New Haven has 66 permits that you're allowed to apply for online, with different requirements for each type of permit, different steps you have to go through, documents you have to upload, et cetera. New Haven has, since December 12th when we launched it, they have received 825 permits online. So they are doing over 50% of their permits online. And then the third part of Municity is what we call Municity Mobile, which is, I think you guys are currently using some mobile. This is a newer version of it. Let me just pull up a municipality here. That makes sense. Norwalk. So mobile is usable on tablets, smartphones, both Android and iPad tablets, and you can do all of your inspection work in the field with these tablets. You can, let's see, let's look at some data here. You can open up an inspection. You can put in your results. You can take pictures. You can put in comments. You can do code enforcement activity from this. You can be out in the field and you can see some sort of activity, someone building without a permit, etc. You can click on that property, open up that property, and see if they have a permit. In this case, I'll look here. This one has one permit. It's an old one, so I can put them in violation right from the tablet. So this allows you to go through that whole process, pick your type of violation, so on. I don't need to go through all of this, but you get the idea. And work without a permit, so on. And so it really improves the efficiency of the staff in the field. They don't have to call back to the office to do anything. They put all their results in, their pictures, they link up automatically. They can view any documents that have been attached in the office or from an applicant. They can view in the field. So if they need to look at drawings while they're doing an inspection, they have access to all of that because it's all up in the cloud and available. They can make comments, they can message each other, etc. Hey, how'd I do?
Fine.
Less
Very
than 10
good.
minutes, that's good.
Yeah, that was good.
So can we ask some questions now?
Sure, yeah, jump in.
Okay, so a couple of questions. So how easy is it to transfer the data from the old software to the new? And I guess you guys are there through the entire transition because,
Sure are, yeah. So it is the same database that you currently have with the few changes. So we have conversion scripts. We've now, we had about 120 municipalities on the older version, and we have switched about 50 of those so far. So we're getting quite good at it, I would say. We just did Saugerties last week, Marbletown week before, North Castle was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So we're doing quite a few as we go through it. White Plains had switched maybe another month ago, so we're quite good at it. There's a little bit of work. The biggest work is in switching the documents over. All your printouts, your permits, your COs, your inspection notices, your notice of violations, all of those have to be redone. So that's the biggest work process we have to go through. And then we'll come in and review everything with the staff, train them, and be on site for go live. So you're looking at having us here for a municipality this size for 3 days or so through that process, 3 to 4, depending on.
3 days
on
of
staff.
training?
Yeah, training and go live. So it's,
Do you do a parallel test too to make sure that the old works with the new, et cetera, and we don't lose any data?
we set up the new system, and we don't take your old system down until the Friday before you go live. And you actually can continue to have it up there for reference if you want as well. But we switch you over on a Monday. So on that Friday afternoon, we turn off the old one, say don't put any more data in there. We convert all the data over the weekend, come in Monday morning, and it's ready to go.
So there's a fail-safe in there just in case, because I know a lot of times when we bring in new software, we always have the old data, the new data, and we just make sure that, God forbid, something happens, you can always go back to the old data of.
You certainly can. You
Okay.
can, if we miss something in the conversion, which we shouldn't, and because yours it's a known entity. You know, when we do one systems, we don't know. Sometimes we miss some data. New Haven, they keep finding data in these other systems. We converted 10 systems in New Haven into Municity. They had 10 different departments. They're using 10 different pieces of software. So we brought all those into Municity. So they keep finding data in those that we.
So the product we have today, how much longer do you think it's going to last? I mean,
Well,
you did a lot of patches to it.
Yeah, it's not lasting beyond next year.
2021, right?
Yep, yeah, so we definitely recommend. It's gonna continue. The crashes that you guys are receiving, we can't fix those. It's just a matter of the software in Windows and security patches and in Windows 10 and things like that. So it's just going to happen. You reboot it and keep going. You know.
Is it likely that it would not be rebootable?
No, it very unlikely that it will just die. It's Windows does put out updates every few weeks, and each time that happens, sometimes stuff. Like we used to have a little map area in the software that one of the updates came out, and that map doesn't work anymore now. And we've been trying to figure out how to get that to work again, but it's some security patch that Microsoft put in that causes that to not work anymore. So, but generally, it's not going to lose. We use a SQL database in the back end, which is a Microsoft product. We're not going to lose that. Microsoft's not going to block that. So we don't think it's going to die on you, but it does get harder and harder to use.
So I have another question for you.
Sure.
Sorry.
Yeah,
So the cost of the first year is $20,000,
that is correct.
and the annual maintenance after that is $4,200 going forward?
4,200, and you also have some, that includes your mobile, I believe.
So my question to you is, we have a lot of companies out there today that the first year of maintenance is included. As an example, we have a lot of big vendors where the maintenance cost is part of it, and just wondering why you guys aren't saying, listen, it's part of the cost, and so instead of being $20,000, it would be $16,000 going forward. I understand the $4,200 cost, but just want to ask the question.
Well, you guys pay, I have to look it up, but somewhere probably in the 3,000 range for the software currently, and you
Okay.
get a credit for that for this year against this 4,200. So I don't know if I work that in here, depending on when that's due. We'll be crediting you that. We also, the pricing for upgrades is significantly less. I can tell you a municipality the size of Wappinger in Connecticut will be paying $120,000 for the software, brand new. So we are doing significant discounts on this as it is, and that's actually part of the reason we're not pushing the updates. We're not forcing everyone to upgrade. We don't really make much money on the upgrade. We make money on new sales. We're doing it, we want to get everybody off of it, we want to support our customers and all of that, but there's not a lot of room in these numbers for us to come down. We will definitely give you credit for any support, annual support that you've paid.
Okay.
And that's for
All right,
this year.
thank you.
Any other questions?
Other questions?
So, Craig, which operating system are we using in the town hall now?
We're in the middle of converting to Windows 10, and that's the issues that the users are seeing are the ones that are on the newer computers running Windows 10.
Gotcha.
So
So we're going to Windows 10,
And
And-
you have to.
right, which we have to do.
yes,
And this platform is 10 years old, so there's really not an option here. I mean, basically, we need to develop a plan how we're gonna do this.
Right.
Because I don't think we're gonna be able to get to the end of this year the way we're going. What percentage of the computers are Windows 10 right now?
the entire building department's been converted already.
Okay, all right.
I've already done, there's a couple of departments left. that
We made that the top
building
priority.
is done, fully converted.
Yeah, so once they're fully converted, the software probably won't even work anymore.
Well,
That's the other
the
issue
thing
we run
is
into.
that each user in the building department has observed the very issues that Will was referring to, and it's because of the operating system upgrade. You know,
I
it's
guess to
constant-
Barbara, how much downtime are you guys experiencing?
So what's been happening is that we have to keep rebooting. If not each application, like every time we leave the computer for a while, Thursday and Friday, I couldn't print from Unicity, so every building permit.
Our viewers at home would like to hear what you're saying.
So last week I experienced Thursday and Friday, every building permit I put in, I couldn't print the receipt or the building permit, so I had to go out and have one of the clerks redo it. So that's two of
Right,
us
yeah.
doing the same thing. When we're using it, a lot of times it just freezes. We have to pull out of it and start back up again. So it's becoming very time consuming for the different.
The blue screen of death, is that what you get?
Yeah.
I guess to Councilman Beal's point, we have to figure out how to get this going.
Well, I think we need to be in a position by June 1st to be on the new system. That's what I think. I think that's going to give us time to figure out where we're going to find the money. because usually you would want to budget for this. Clearly, it's I guess a capital expense, $20,000 expense. I appreciate the ability for the company to come down on the price. I also appreciate the councilman's point on the maintenance cost, but, you know, it's 2020 now, and we need to be on the latest version of whatever software we're using for security purposes, right? So, because we're mid-year, we're gonna most likely, Supervisor, have a budget review on the end of March, right? End of
Yeah,
first quarter.
first meeting in April.
Yeah, first meeting in April. So assuming we're going to be in a position to entertain this, my personal opinion is we need to try to shoot for June 1st. I think that's probably the earliest we can responsibly do this. I know it sounds like a long ways away, but there's a lot of instability right now in the economy that we need to keep an eye on here. I want to be confident at the end of March that we're seeing revenues that we need to be seeing. Because $20,000 is something that we need to find for this purpose.
And we have the ongoing 4,200, you know,
Right.
years
I mean,
going
the
forward.
4,200.
Well, that'll start in 2021,
Yeah,
but.
but I'm just saying.
Well, we already have,
Right.
we already have 30-something in, you know, 35 or whatever it is in there for now for maintenance anyway. So I'm not concerned about that really. It's the big nut, the 20,000. And Craig, any thoughts on that? Is that realistic if we're looking at an implementation for June 1st? Is it realistic for us in the town hall to have this entire suite be running properly on June 1st? I mean, it's March, what is it now? You know, we got time.
March 9th.
So you don't need to do anything, right?
Yeah, we don't have to really do anything. That would be handled by Will and his team.
So your foundation is, the Windows 10 will be in place and running, and,
Already, that part's done.
Yeah, we just grab backups of your system.
Yeah.
It takes us a few weeks to convert everything.
right?
So we can, yeah, we could even do it sooner if you wanted to do it sooner, we could.
I want to do it tomorrow, but I just
Well,
want to make sure we're going to have the money.
Okay.
You want to
Yeah.
get paid, right?
I agree.
I do like to get paid, I do know where you guys live.
I agree. Let's see where our finances are after the first quarter, and then we can
Yeah,
go from
that's
there.
right.
Okay, but I was gonna say, we do often work a little ahead of the money if that's, you know.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and after the April meeting, the first meeting in April, when we look at our numbers, and we can kind of get a better projection on where we're gonna be in the second quarter, I don't have any objection to making an adjustment to the
Right.
target date, and if it's a little sooner, it's a little sooner. I just wanna make sure we approach this responsibly, so we don't end up with a $20,000 expense and then see a challenge with revenues.
Bob, I agree.
Agreed.
Yep.
I just have one question regarding the application side of it.
Yeah.
Is anybody in Dutchess County using
Yeah.
which municipalities?
Red Hook, Village Town, Rhinebeck, Village Town, Wappingers Falls, Beekman, Hyde Park,
So they're
Union
doing,
Vale.
so they're processing the permit applications on it?
Not all of them are using, in fact, very few. The online permitting part where the applicants can apply online is very new.
Okay,
So we're actually just offering that out to,
Oh, okay.
to folks now. And so that's, I don't think anyone in Dutchess is currently doing that.
Okay.
Some have where the public can look up stuff, but they don't have the online applications. We
Okay.
only have, I think, 10 municipalities doing the online applications right now.
Looks like a great feature too, so.
because
And
one of the things we've been discussing is the ability to, you know, which assists us in particularly with respect to FOIL requests and people curious about, you know, subdivision and site plan applications. We wanted to have the ability to get those applications up on the website and share them with the public. So to the extent
You
that
can
you've
do
got
all that.
you've got a, you know,
Really? So your software allows the public to view pending
Yeah,
applications?
you can make available to the public anything you want in Munissi. It's usually, we like to refer to it as it's a subset. So you don't want everything
Right.
generally out there. There's fees and there's,
Right,
different
right.
violation stuff, so on. So it's a subset, but you can put out any subset you want, including documents, photos, et cetera.
I think that's value right there too.
right.
Now, is that typically linked through our website, or is it?
Yes, it's
Oh, it
usually,
is.
yeah, it's on your website, but it takes them to City Squared,
Okay.
specific to your municipality. And then it's gonna have your GIS and your parcels and your data and all of that. We
Yeah,
customize
I
it.
think that's great.
Yeah, I do too.
There's one other thing. This also speaks to Edmunds,
Yeah,
and that's, I believe, what Frederick uses.
Yes.
What's that, the
Ed-
accounting
Edmunds,
software?
the
Accounting
financial
software.
accounting.
Yeah, so they talk to each
Oh,
other, so that's
okay.
even better yet.
So
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
from what I saw, produces any type of, lots of reports. So what I liked was that all of our income would be going directly to Frederick.
Yeah, we can create a file that's daily imported into Edmunds.
So you can create like canned queries, things like that, would automatically pulls that up, so once you set the query up, you're
Right.
good? Okay.
You can schedule anything, but in that case, it's actually, we usually do that back on the server side, and we FTP the file right to the server where Edmunds is, or wherever they pull it in from. But you can also just, you can schedule a report, like if board members want to report every month, you
Yeah.
guys can, you can run that report and email you guys the report as a PDF.
So final question on my end here. You know, we have to ask this question. We're going from local to cloud, right? That's what we're doing? So Craig, I mean, it's 2020 now. These cloud services now are, you know, backup to the backup to the backup, right? We don't have to worry about that?
They handle that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of Will's package.
Okay, so,
It is incredibly, I come from desktop,
Right.
I'm old enough that, and I was skeptical, this stuff is solid. We launched with Amazon AWS. We were one of the first companies, certainly first municipal software companies into Amazon AWS back in 2012, when it was hardly anything. And since we launched the product in 2014, 15, it's been down for about 2.5 hours. So
Okay.
That's it.
I'll take
You know,
it.
It's, yeah, it's surprising.
okay,
It's-
good, because I mean, we have a responsibility as a municipality to make sure that our information is secure, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure that you have the ability to provide that, you know, authentication to us, and Craig, as our IT rep, can confirm that, and then we've done our job, in my opinion, right?
Yeah, we've been through
I also
many.
want to add that last time I was here was because we had a discussion on efforts to unify the various systems. And as Barbara said, because there's an integration between Unicity and Edmunds, that's a step in that
Right.
very direction that you guys wanted to focus on.
Good.
So just, yeah. And also, the storage is included, right? So
Yeah.
so that's the other thing you always have to keep an eye on with IT, is your data use is gonna grow. It's never gonna get small.
Right.
So this is also an investment in enabling the building department to have more storage moving forward as you accumulate more photos and files that they're gonna attach to that database.
Great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks,
very much.
Will. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Craig, thank you. So we'll move into the resolution section of the meeting, and the first resolution is number 2020-74. This is a proclamation recognizing March 14th, which happens to be Albert Einstein's birthday, as Math Recognition Day, and we've done this in the last few years, and so we have the proclamation in front of us.
Pi Day,
High day, yes.
3.14.
49, whatever.
What's that?
3.14159.
He's still got it.
Isn't
He's got
something
it.
like- Yeah, Jim's the engineer,
The attorney engineer.
right?
Okay. I'll move this.
Second it.
All in favor? Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, the motion passed. Next resolution is 2020-75. This is a proclamation for Parkinson's Awareness Month. We've also had done this in the past in recognition of this degenerative neuro movement disorder. So do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
on this?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, it's passed, and we will have some more discussion throughout the month on activities that the town may participate in relating to that. The next item is Resolution 2020-76. This is a resolution authorizing the settlement of tax certiorari proceedings regarding Riverbend at Wappinger Falls LLC and Riverbend at Wappinger Falls, double I guess it is, LLC. To,
Riverbend 2.
okay, here it was printed, I guess, wrong. Yeah, Christian, would you like to make some comments about it? And also probably Mr. Haran, before we entertain a resolution. Motion.
All right, so obviously this is the Riverbend complexes, the rental housing. They have filings from 2015 to 2019. I think the filings have gone on so long because I've been telling them, no, you're fairly assessed, you can't have a reduction. So they finally have agreed with us. What they've agreed to is to drop all 5 years, so there'll be no refunds, and they're gonna give them very small reductions for 2020, and they're gonna freeze those assessments for 3 years. So we'll end up with basically a small reduction in 2020. Froze will have 4 years of tax certainty. The small reductions are acceptable to me, and the lack of refunds is really what we're going after. So, well, I mean, obviously, we did get an appraisal for a few of the years. This case has gone on for a long time. And our appraisal was very close to the assessed value. But if we had to go to court and battle it out, the fees would be large. And then we don't know what the outcome's gonna be. If we end up having to refund money, then you also have to refund with interest at that point in time. So this is an excellent settlement.
So-
Hard fought.
So this is in the village. Riverbend 1, you're at 14 million. That's gonna stay for 3 years at 14 million, 40,000?
No, it's gonna go to 13.5.
It's gonna get reduced to 13
So it
million.
goes to 13.5 and stays there for 3 years?
Correct, 20
And
and
then
20.
the Riverbend 2 goes to 7 million for 3 years,
Correct.
correct?
Yep, 7,289,
Or
6,900.
6.9?
I think he has 6.9 on the
6.9.
paperwork
Okay.
here.
All right, yeah, I mean, this has been going on since 2015 when they're probably being built. Or right when they first were
The
built.
original Riverbend was there, obviously, and
The second one,
the
yeah.
first year I fully assessed them on Riverbend 2 was when they filed the challenge.
Okay.
So if you look at the first one assessed at 13.5, now they wanna do from 2020 all the way through 2022, whatever. If you go back to 2015, that's what it was originally at 13.5.
Right, yeah.
So it's about a 3.8% reduction from the current value on that particular one.
Right.
But that's the assessed value, that's not the tax base value, right?
Well,
Oh, that is it.
Well, that's-
that's what their tax rate's based on, but I don't have any issue with this because this is actually gonna save everyone, all levels of government, in the end, by settling this right now.
Absolutely,
So
especially the village.
Right, and especially the village, I'll move
Right.
this.
And I reviewed it with Christian, and also legal counsel have been involved in it, so I support that motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, motion passed.
Great, all
Okay,
right, thank you.
Thank you.
And Christian's really been hardworking. Next meeting, we'll have another one, maybe just 1
We might
minute,
have,
just
we'll
summarize.
have at least 2, if not 3,
Two,
for the
yeah,
next
if
meeting.
not
So we
three,
have
so-
a couple small ones out
Yeah.
there that we've finally been able to clean up,
So
so
they've been working on that,
So-
so
Thank
thank
you.
you, Christian.
you're welcome.
Appreciate it. Barbara here. Is the next item was, well, we have a resolution, I'll do that first. Resolution 2020-77, this is to approve the correspondence file.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, motion passed. Next item was Hindu Samaj tree felling, but Barbara's not here. Jim, do you? Yeah. Jim, do you want to, the Hindu Samaj tree felling, and Barbara's not
Sure.
here, do you, want to discuss that?
Sure, I don't know,
Yeah, just the,
sure.
yeah,
Michelle,
come on
just
up, Michelle.
explain.
That's fine. I just want to get Barbara in.
Hi, I'm Michelle
Yes.
Zerfenberger, engineer. We're the engineers for Hindu Samaj. And basically, what they want to do is take down some trees for the tree cutting deadline on March 31st. They've gotten planning board approval. They just haven't met all the conditions at this point. So they want to take the trees down in hopes that they'll be able to get the sewer line in this summer and build a parking lot.
Barbara, what's
So
your position?
They've met all the conditions of the code to fell the trees.
So seeker was done? Did they issue a neg deck?
Yes.
Okay.
So at this point, they only have a couple of weeks to get them down. They've posted a $7,500 bond, and we just need it approved by the board.
Michelle, there's not a lot of tree felling. This is basically an expansion of the parking area, so,
Correct, and then that's sewer line.
okay. So what's the total square footage or acreage for?
It'll be about 15 trees. I didn't really do a square footage, because some of the trees are
They need town board action on this, or?
Just to accept the bond?
Just accept the bond, Bill.
Oh, move to accept.
Yeah.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any nays, abstentions? Seeing none, motion passed. Thanks, Michelle. Thank you. Okay, do we have any other points I'd like to discuss before we break off executive session for interviews?
Well, before we break off into Never Never Land, hopefully it doesn't take all night, but big shout out to everybody on the Dutchess County St. Patrick's Parade. busy day for.
Especially for Bill Beal and
Well, not-
doing the MC, and
Not especially
did a
for
great
me,
job.
but for everyone. We really tried to use this particular event to attract people into the village, to help support those that were affected by that tragic fire that displaced 12-plus families. I'm not sure what the exact number is now.
39 people.
39 people were
And 4
impacted.
businesses.
And I think we saw quite a return. The weather certainly helped. There were thousands of people there for that event, and they were passing the bucket around the crowd, and people were donating. And I know that the GoFundMe page that was set up was over 15,000
Yeah, it's
now.
almost 16,000.
So I think we're doing, we're going above and beyond here as best as we can to help those that have been affected by the latest tragedy in the village, which happens to be the part of our town that we all represent. So that being said, I had spoken to a couple board members relative to having the parade broadcast again on our local government channel, not realizing that the broadcast process would not fall within the existing town contracts. It's not a town event. It's an event that's run by a nonprofit committee. I thought it would be appropriate for us to fund the broadcast of the parade so that it could be played on our government channel, and also give our residents that were unable to be there the ability to see the event and also be aware of the support that's going on within the community for that latest tragedy. The cost was $2,000. I see this as a one-time expense because moving forward, I've already spoken to the parade committee, and they're going to be looking for presenting sponsors to pay for the filming moving forward. This year, we didn't have the ability to do that because we didn't have enough time. So we do have some funding in contingency under town board that I would like to move that we fund the $2,000 expense for this filming of the parade by MJM Television and Video Productions.
I'll second
And I
that.
had talked, there's motion second, I had discussed with Bill as well, and in full agreement, supported that. Actually, it's already up.
Yes.
You know, Mike Miner and his production company have already gotten it up online, and I think we're even going to be gotten a request of the seniors to show it in the senior center and a lot of other requests. So it's really getting already some good traction. So we have a motion and second. Al or Chris, any other comments on it?
No.
No.
No, we spoke to Bill earlier, so
Yeah.
we're in agreement.
Yep.
Mike does a wonderful job,
Oh, yeah.
and it's incredible to
absolutely.
watch.
And I know Mike wanted to do this for free, but I don't know if you're aware of this. Mike had a crew of like 4 or
Yes.
5 people
No.
that need to work this. You know,
That's
it's
right.
not like you can just set it up yourself and do it. So I understand that there are overhead expenses in something like this, and I would greatly appreciate the support of the board.
Yeah, so we have a motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, motion passed, and thanks to everyone, and special thanks to Mike Miner and his crew.
Thank you, Mike.
I just have one thing. On Saturday, the town in my ward, the 3rd Ward, lost a longtime resident, Anthony Masharola. He had a long battle with cancer, and I'd like to extend the condolences from the board to him and his family. He's going to be greatly missed.
Sure. Thank you. I'll send, if you get me the address, I'll send a card. On behalf of the board, I've been doing that as we find our residents passed away. We've been sending out some condolence cards
Thank you.
to them, so thank you. Okay.
So the only,
seeing no other new business-
the only thing I would say is that, we're gonna talk about this at some point in time, about the Little League and soccer
Sure,
contracts,
yes.
et cetera. So I just wanna make sure that stays in the forefront of some of the things we're gonna be talking about relatively soon. As opening days, April 18th for Little League, and just wanna make sure that
Right.
we take care of it.
Jessica's put together a packet of information on soccer and Little League in front of you. You and I will be taking a.
One other comment on that too, so I know that, and I'll ask Steve Fraser to talk about this, I apologize, but he did an estimate on the fence we were talking about when we had the workshop on the 29th, there was a safety fence we wanted to put around the playground area. Steve, I think you got an estimate, so I don't know if you want to talk to that now or not.
I didn't bring any information.
Okay,
Yeah, we can do that later.
But that's all part of the total
Okay,
process.
yes, okay. Do I have a motion to move into executive session to conduct interviews?
I'll make the
with
motion.
candidates? All in favor? Aye. Any nays or abstentions? See none, motion passed. And I'm not sure what time we'll get done, with our interviews, so we'll be back, though.